storm leaves UK's biggest solar farm in pieces. It's time to choose. Let's start with what's most important. I wish everyone a highly evolutionary year 2025, filled with faith, sincerity, courage, and joy. The new being is emerging within us. Let's not take world events too seriously and continue our ego dissolution with a smile. Although pandemic lockdowns led to supply chain instability, huge job losses, and a stagflationary crisis, climate change propagandists argued that the event was actually a positive for the planet when it was revealed that emissions fell by 5.4%. What happens when the perfect alternative energy potential is destroyed by repetitive extreme weather now happening all over the world? Here is one of the latest. Storm wrecks UK's largest solar farm. 190 acres of prime agricultural land in Ainsley, Wales, were converted to a solar farm which has now been decimated by a storm. Thousands of homes in Wales are without power. If storms are to become more and more frequent, then how can they claim solar is secure or even viable? The challenge is not simply replacing the solar panels. All the frames are bent and therefore completely destroyed. Further, is the question of what happens to all the destroyed material. The cost of labor alone is gargantuan. This situation is a total loss. Will this ever be rebuilt? Where are they going to find all that farmland in Wales? Here is a solution. Don't cover the agricultural fields. Cover the car parks. Unfortunately, most still believe that Trump is the savior. Nothing could be further from the truth. Candidate Trump, President Trump. Trump is surrounding himself with Operation Warp Speed accomplices while pretending to make America great again. I'll vax them. I'll chip them. Together we fight the elite. The two gladiators. To those worshipping Musk as the free speech savior, square the circle. Tesla, cult driverless vehicle agenda. SpaceX, Tesla, cult 5G, 6G, 7G from space. Smart grid agenda. Neuralink, merging your brain with AI. Cult merge humans with AI agenda. Why should the cult own Twitter, sell to Musk? I want to put the chip in the brains. I want to put chips in brains. Laugh out loud. The truth is no longer hidden. Now people hide from the truth. Unfortunately, even individuals who are waking up do not understand what is happening. Humanity is being bombarded with tragedies, more and more every day, but most people are still trying to find a solution inside this rotten system. Humanity is in a monumental dead end. This is an evolutionary crisis. It is the end of the human species, the end of the intelligent animal. Each individual must take the decision to stop participating and feeding this horrible illusion which we believe to be our reality. It is time to dream very hard about the next step, the new eidesic species. It is the separation of me with myself which causes fear. This is where fear comes from. Fear stops the person from contacting his natural common sense. This is how he becomes disconnected from his intelligence and his reason, and therefore he is manipulable at will from the outside. It is by keeping the human being in forgetfulness of who he is, the creator of the universe, that he is reduced to a fearful sheep who puts his trust in his usurpers. Well played, external authorities, but your beautiful days are numbered. It will not be like that anymore. We are committed to discovering our inner sovereignty and obeying it, because a sheep who is no longer afraid is no longer a sheep. Recently, my soul pushed me with extreme intensity, and therefore I had to listen to her. I faced my greatest fear. I left my family and the world of illusion. The only way forward is to get out of the illusion, out of the triangle of hell. I must remember who I am, and then understand what the hell I'm doing here on Earth. I include the links to my video, I'm Out of the Matrix. Booklet number 1 of Personocratia, Evolution Towards the New Species. This first booklet was published in French and English in 2008 and in Spanish in 2009. DSG updated this booklet in 2020, but only in French. In order to share this latest information, I will be translating the 2020 French version into English and Spanish. When a similar page is available in the original version, I will include a screenshot of that page, as well as the translated 2020 version. If a similar page is not available, I will include the French page as well as the translated page. Please share this information with awakening individuals. Booklet number 1 of Personocratia, Evolution Towards the New Species, pages 34 and 35. A traveler and her car. Let's compare the body to a car. When I look at it, I notice its shape, color, brand, etc. This corresponds to the physical body, that of habits and sensory perceptions. As with a car, when I observe someone, I see their shape, the color of their skin, their hair, etc. When I get inside the car, I notice the comfortable seats, the steering wheel, the pedals, the dashboard. This corresponds to my vital, emotional body, that of emotions and desires. Then I open the hood to scrutinize the engine, and I slide under the chassis to examine the brakes and the exhaust pipe. I discover the mental body, that of thoughts. What I call my body is in fact formed of 3 bodies in one. The first is visible, and the other 2 invisible but very real. As a car cannot function with its body alone, my physical body cannot live without the other 2 bodies, even if they are not observable with my 5 senses. However, neither the car nor the body can move forward without a driver. So I have a soul, idessa, individualized in matter and immortal. The soul knows where she's going. She understands that she is on a journey with a beginning and an end, this time around. She knows the way and follows it to the letter. She governs the expedition. And the soul, where does she come from? It would seem that the planet Earth has a special link where Idessa has chosen to incarnate herself completely. Everything that exists on Earth has an immortal Idessic spark. This spark is an embryo of a soul. In human beings, thanks to a more evolved mind, the soul was able to grow and individualize herself. She continued to progress during multiple incarnations and still continues today. As for the spirit, it is Idessa, creatrix of the car and the driver, obviously. There is only one creatrix of all creation. She creates everything from nothing, not the way the animal does, by the union of an ovum and a spermatozoon. That is not creation, it is reproduction. The spirit is the only original vibration. The spirit creates the soul first and the body afterwards. Who is this creatrix and where is she? That is the essential question. Deep down, I am much more than a body. I intuitively aspire to a divine life in matter. I have always sought the unmasked, true, immortal life. But death has put on the mask of life. It is up to you to unmask death. It's time to choose. We see that there are currently two human species. Their difference lies in the choice of the direction of their life. One remains governed by artificial intelligence, AI, towards death, while the other passes under the internal governance of the soul and heads towards immortality. The old species remains attached to the old animal program of survival, hell on earth. The new species comes out of survival in order to learn to live on a daily basis, paradise on earth in an immortal body. As a modern human being living in this 21st century, I have free will as to the choice of my direction. Will I take the path of the great adventure, to be, or to disappear? For some, the attachment to comfort, habits, stability, privileges keeps them in ignorance or even in denial in the face of the current disastrous state of humanity. They demand proof or label any divergent information as conspiracy theory to eliminate it out of hand. They prefer not to know, rather than to open the door to the truth. This is cognitive dissonance. For others, the inner evolutionary push is so strong that this choice is obvious, even imperative. After removing several veils of illusion, they manage to see the brick wall, the wall of death, to be crossed there in front of us. The situation becomes clear. It is a race between the transformation of consciousness and death. Decide or die. It is obvious, indeed, but how do we proceed to make the decision, and how do we transform ourselves? The purpose of this booklet is precisely to answer all these questions. Let us remember, for the moment, that the first step consists of 1. Understanding the world in which I live and the way I behave in it. Then, 2. Deciding to do a big cleanup, to remove the animal filth that, for an eternity, has coated each of my cells, my emotions, and my thoughts like a thick layer of very sticky mud. It is the humus of the old human being that I must peel off so that the true me can emerge, the sovereign being that I really am. Here are 2 pages from the English Evolution booklet. From millennium slavery to individual sovereignty. In the Orient, in the 20th century, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother discovered and anchored truth consciousness, the supramental consciousness in the earthly atmosphere. Once well anchored, the new consciousness was ready to move on to the next stage, its popularization and propagation. In the West, in the 21st century emerged personal creatia, the power of the sovereign person to govern oneself. Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga goes beyond individual liberation and undertakes collective transformation on earth. After the death of Sri Aurobindo, the mother continued their work, and on February 29, 1956, the supramental consciousness was definitely anchored on earth. One single and sincere look at the present world situation is enough to convince anybody that it has reached a point of no return. Humanity is heading towards a monumental dead end. Let's stop repeating our obsolete ways, which can only bring more suffering. Personal creatia continues the diffusion of truth consciousness in the West. Substantial unity replaces the guru-disciple separation. Let us all spread the contagion of love. I'm out of the game. Like Truman in The Truman Show, I have taken my bow and left a world of illusion, this computer simulation to which I have given authority to manage my life. I leave the theater, where I have played time and time again the roles of disciple, daughter, parent, dentist, entrepreneur, citizen. Today, I devote myself fully and without limits to spreading individual sovereignty, the truth consciousness that I have been experiencing since 2002. Infinite love.